Hi, I'm Jen Fredenberg, and we did amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is a weakness disorder affecting both the upper and lower motor neurons because of the damage to the direct pathway. Excuse me. We have Mr. Hansen, who's a 57-year-old male. He's presented to the clinic already diagnosed by a neurologist. Onset was 1 year ago, and he is experiencing articulation and swallowing problems. He's a retired teacher, so we're expecting, because he's a professional speaker, that he would have been prior to this disorder much more animated in his delivery, intonation, etc. So he wants to return to work. Sampling procedures, so this was basic protocol: sound booth, mic to mouth distance, 5 centimeters for sustained ah, and 15 centimeters for connected speech. This is the order. Somebody went in and did the same samples for Mr. Hansen. Sustained ah that was only recorded once instead of 3 times. I think the clinician, he knew what he was doing. He knew it reached 25 seconds. Pataka is for rate. Coughing and grunting was basically to perceptually see his respiratory, what was going on there. The sentence repetition, both by Bobby a Puppy and Susie C. Sally, was the pinch nose test for hypernasality. Basically, what's happening is Mr. Hansen is substituting, because of place, he's substituting nasal M for the B, and so my mommy a mummy is really when he pinches his nose, it becomes in the right place. Spontaneous speech sample is next. So here are our results, and I'm going to talk about basically findings as we go along. So fundamental frequency, if we're reading from left to right, for his age and gender, he is within normal limits, WNL. So here's what Mr. Hansen scored at, 129, and this is the normative information for men his age. Jitter is that cycle to cycle duration. He is in with normal limits, which is actually, I found kind of surprising, because for ALS we're expecting that to be elevated. Shimmer was elevated, and that is an expectation for ALS as well. His harmonics to noise ratio is diminished. Again, that would be expected. That correlates perceptually with the breathiness that we hear when he's doing his samples, and also that hypernasality. Just really quickly, I feel like I'm racing through this. Shimmer is also, perceptually, we hear that shakiness in his voice. So that has to do with the variance in amplitude. Okay, moving on. His connected speech sample. So again, he's within normal limits. He came out fundamental frequency at 128 hertz, and he's falling within the norm for men his age. Pitch sigma is basically the octave range, and he is diminished in that. So again, he's a professional speaker, and I mean, his disease is so that he's not being innervated. His articulation is not as strong as it used to be. Everything else is within normal limits. Maximum performance. So again, he's not using his muscles for articulation, so that was within normal limits. The maximum phonation frequency was not in dynamic range, which would have correlated with average intensity, was not done either. NPFR would have been the perceptual correlate of pitch sigma. His formant analysis, obviously we're going to find that the tongue is not moving out of the way. For F1 is height and F2 is advancement. We're finding that he's more nasal, and we found that in the spectrum analysis. His voice onset time, it took him longer because he was just unable to quickly do that turnaround in speech that we normally do when there isn't a disorder, right? There's a lot of noise, a lot of nasal emissions, so we're not getting that nice clarification noise, and that's it. So here's the deal. He's got a physiological problem, which can't be fixed with voice therapy. However, I would recommend voice therapy for his swallowing disorder, and there are things that can be helped for Mr. Hansen. Thanks so much.